Okay, so there are two types of quizzes, classic quizzes and new quizzes. Classic quizzes has some other features that new quizzes doesn't have yet, which is why they haven't gotten rid of classic quizzes yet. Okay. So things like it allows you to download an actual like Google Sheet or an Excel file that has all of the students' information, what they did. There's also an easy way to go to SpeedGrader in classic quizzes that new quizzes doesn't have yet. So I'm going to show you what I did was I created the two different types of quizzes inside my Tech Thursday course. So I'm actually just going to click on assignments. And if you can see, I have a whole group that is just quiz examples. Right. You can notice the difference between the two quizzes. The one that's colored in is visually going to show you that that is a new quiz type. Versus if it is hollow or it's just the outline, this means that it is a classic quiz. So I'm going to open up the classic quiz and I'm going to show you just some of the basics that both quiz types have. So if I click edit, both quiz types allow you to give it a title and descriptions. It also allows you to shuffle answers so that one student's A is not the same as another student's A. In elementary, you might not necessarily need to do a time limit, but you could. And you might allow multiple attempts. If you allow multiple attempts, it has to be for the whole class. But there is a way to do it just for your students who are on IEPs, 504, or if they're in the EL program and their accommodations or modifications allow for multiple attempts. So you can do highest, the latest grade, or even the average. And you can say, you know what, I'm going to allow 3 attempts total for everyone in the class if you wanted to. You also don't have to allow attempts at all if you don't want to. Okay. So you can let the students see their quiz responses after they've taken the test. You can say they can only see it once after each attempt, or you can even let them see their correct answers. The one thing that I would recommend not clicking is show one question at a time. The reason why we don't show one question at a time is that we learned that it actually slows down the internet because it requires the page to refresh every single time they click next to go to the next question. Okay. Yeah. So we learned that the hard way at the high school when everyone was taking their finals. Oh dear. And yeah, it was not the funnest day. So, yeah. You also can restrict the quiz by giving a password. And so the password could be as easy as red or blue. It really depends on you. It's just so the kids can't get into the test early. It's just when you want them to get in, then you can give them the password. But you also don't have to require one as well. If you want to assign a test, let's say that you've got one test for your EL students, one test for your IEP, one for your on-level, and maybe one for honors. Maybe you have all 4, but you don't have honors. But if you did, you had advanced. You can assign it just to that one, to those students. So if I had a Gina in my course, I could just assign it to Gina, then maybe 2 or 3 other people in the course. Make sure you put a due date on it. It doesn't necessarily mean much to you guys when it comes to grade books because elementary doesn't use the Canvas grade book, but it'll pop it on the student's calendar so that if their parents like, oh, you need to go take a quiz, go to the calendar, it'll pop up if you put a due date on the assignment. Do you have any questions on like the different types of options that you can do within a test?
I have never done one.
Okay, that's okay. That's a judgment-free zone. That's why we're here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what a classic quiz looks like versus what a new quiz looks like. Okay. I'm just going to click preview, and you have this ability too. So once you've built your quiz, if you want to see what it looks like for a student, you can click the preview and it'll show you the exact same thing. And remember, I'm not expecting you to memorize every single thing that I'm showing you. I'm kind of showing you these just to get your mind percolating on like the different ways that you could use quizzes, because you could do just a regular quiz like you would for a test, or you could even take a workbook or a worksheet or something like that and actually make it a graded assignment that Canvas grades for you. And gives you a grade for easily than having to grade it individually. So I made one question for each different type of question type that Canvas offers. So we've got multiple choice, we've got true or false, we even have fill in the blank. So the United States flag is red, white, and blue. We have multiple, so roses are red, violets are blue. You can choose all that apply kind of question, so red, white, and blue. You can even do drop downs.
Okay.
I messed up this one, but you can also do matching, so foe, and then they drop down is an enemy, fast is huge, wild is untamed, furious is angry, and it will actually give them partial credit if they get one wrong.
Okay, good.
So then 5 plus 5 is 10, 5 plus 8 is 13. You can even have an essay question. So write an essay on your happiest moment. And you can even upload something for your students to see, or for the students to turn into you. So let's say you wanted them to turn in that file. When you're finished, or when they're finished, they hit submit, and it says, hey, you've got a couple of unanswered questions, and it'll actually say, go to this one, but I'm going to say, okay, anyway. I want you to grade it anyway. And it will actually grade and show me the correct answers versus the incorrect answers throughout here. So unanswered, this just means that it's not graded yet. Not graded yet, because the teacher actually has to grade it. But that's what this looks like. You can moderate this quiz, which means it will actually give me a list of all of my students. And if I have a student on an IEP or a 504, it'll actually let me give them individually more chances than the whole entire class.
Okay.
So that allows you to make sure that you're doing exactly what their IEP or 504 or EL services requires them to be able to do. So the next thing I have is we're going to do new quizzes. So new quizzes looks a little bit fancier. And you know what it looks like by the darkened rocket ship. So if I click into new quizzes, it looks a little bit different, or a lot of bit different. So if I click that little arrow up at the top, it just gives me the breakdown of my test. So if I wanted to go to number 5, I can just click on number 5 and it'll take me there. Or if I want to go to 13, it'll jump me down to 13. If you go to settings, you have the exact same settings as the other one. So you can shuffle questions, answers, require an access code. You can do all of the same things. You get really cool reports that will show you how well the students did on the quiz as a whole, and then it'll break down the question types. Like 5 of your kids did well on this question, but 2 of them didn't. And then it also allows you to moderate with your students and make sure that you're hitting exactly what they need. But I'm going to show you what it looks like I did the classic. So if I click preview, this is what a new quiz looks like. So I did the same thing. I made one question type from each question type they have. So most cows are black and white. George Washington. You also have fill in the blanks, like red, white, and blue. Multiple choices as well. What's really nifty is you also have this awesome, it's called a stimulus question. And it looks kind of like the state test questions for reading and science, where they have to read this short story, and then you can actually put the questions on the side, and it will stay with the short story. So Let's say that that's the answer. What's really nice about this is you can actually do ordering. So what's from first thing that happens to the last thing? We wake up, we take a shower, and then we get dressed. You can do a document here as well. What's cool about this is called a hotspot question. And as long as the students click wherever the question type asks them to click, they'll get it correct. So it says, please click Oklahoma on the map. So I'm just gonna go click and say that's Oklahoma. You can also do drag and drop. So things that are red, a fire truck, a robin, the ocean, and the sky. But let's say I say that this is it. I say the sky's also red. Then it will actually grade it and tell me which one is wrong. Write about a time you were the happiest. And you can match vocabulary this way. I like the way this one looks better than classic quizzes. But I jump down and I can do huge. I can do enemy, untamed, and angry. And then when I'm ready to submit, the students submit. It says, are you sure you're ready to submit? And I hit yes. And then it actually does the auto grading. So it tells them what they got and the time that it took them to do it. And they can scroll down. And it looks like I didn't capitalize this, but I could have. If I think that it's right, as the teacher, I can go in here and I can actually give them the point anyway. And I got this one incorrect, but it told me that the correct answer was David heard a noise coming from Adam's closet. And you can see the hotspot is like, yes, you did click the correct one. This one showed me that the sky is incorrect. And so it's a lot more user-friendly, the new quizzes, and it's more pleasing to the eye, but it still doesn't have all of the things that classic quizzes has. Do you have any questions so far on just like the basics of both of these?
No, that sounds great.
Good. The only thing that I'm going to show you next is I'm just going to show you how to build one. I'm not going to show you in depth how to build one because that would take a while. So I am going to send you, we have videos on new quizzes, classic quizzes, we have guides as well. I'm going to send that to everyone who joined at the end of today. You guys will get that from me. But inside your course, you just click quizzes and you click add quiz. And it even tells you the difference between classic quizzes and new quizzes. So if you want to do classic quizzes, you would just click and hit submit, and it'll take you straight to doing the classic quiz. And if I go to questions, it's just as simple as going add new question. And then you have a drop down of all of the different question types you can ask. One thing that I would recommend is right here where it says the word question, the students don't see anything that happens in this corner. So like if you put number 1, they don't see that it says number 1. So my recommendation is to always put the objective or the standard in here so that if maybe you need to make a cumulative test or something like a pop quiz, you can easily go back and use this question over and over again, and then this little corner will let you know what that question is covering. So I always recommend putting that there because it's a lot easier. But yeah, that's sort of like I wanted to show you just the basics on how it looks and how it works. Do you have any questions at all on the different types of quizzes or anything like that?
No, sure don't.
Okay, well, if you don't have anything else, I want you to enjoy your plan, use the restroom and get a snack and all of that fun stuff. But if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, okay?
All right, thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.